I want to try and stay right on track this morning. I'm going to go ahead and run some videos. This is part of the training. Please direct your focus to the screens.
Stark, Samantha Jones is off tonight. First here at 5, work is underway to find out if the environment has been harmed by a national oil pipeline's rupture. The problem is in Eureka. Construction crews hit the pipeline just south of I-44 near 109 at Lions Park. This is right next to Robert T. Gigi Elementary School, which did have to evacuate. First Alert 4 Shoshana Stahl is live following this developing story. Shoshana?
Yeah, Corey, right behind me, crews are working on that cleanup effort after a construction crew hit that pipeline on Thursday. When that happened, just next door past this fence, Gegi Elementary School students were in class, then forced to evacuate.
The initial decision was to shelter in place. And then out of an abundance of caution, we made a decision to go ahead and move the children to the south side of the building on the exterior. That was because of possible fume buildup in the school. Diesel fuel has a very strong, unique smell, and we just didn't want anyone to get sick.
Eureka Police Captain Michael Wurgis says a Phillips 66 pipeline was hit in Lions Park, where new baseball fields are being built. Just before 2 o'clock on Thursday, the Eureka Fire Protection District got a call for hazardous material in the park. Fire crews worked to determine what the hazard was and prevent it from getting into any waterways in the area. The fire department says this incident is one they train for.
We respond for the initial response. We work very closely with the pipeline companies over the years to make sure that we're prepared and the community's prepared. They immediately call in their crews and contractors to begin the actual cleanup of the site.
Cleanup is going to take several days, from cleaning up the spill, removing the impacted soil, and then repairing that pipeline. Now, Phillips 66 tells us that this pipeline actually brings fuel from refineries in Texas and Oklahoma here to Missouri and Illinois. Now, when it comes to the students, class was already scheduled to be off on this Friday, so it wasn't impacting any of them today at Gegi Elementary School. Reporting live in Eureka, Shoshana Stahl, First Alert 4.
Shoshana, thank you for that update.
Right now, it's 7 o'clock. How about this dramatic video? It shows the flames shooting into the air after a major gas line ruptured in Sanford. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Haggerty.
And I'm Ashley Rose. Some were forced out of their homes because of this, and people are still being asked to avoid the area. WRAL's Willie Danley is at the scene live. Willie, several vehicles were damaged here.
Yes, Ashley, I'm being told by a man who lives on this street that there were at least 2 cars that caught on fire as a result of that gas leak. Take a look at this video that was sent to WRL by some of our viewers, and you can see how large of a fire it was. As I said, a man here on the scene, he told me that it was a third-party contracted crew that was working to repair a water line, and instead they struck a gas line. Once they struck that gas line, he says sparks went flying, and there were several cars that were caught on fire. Many homes in this area went without power. Some of them has since been returned, but it's a very cold night to be going without power. So I spoke to a woman who lives on this street about how she found out about the situation that happened here with the gas leak and her house being without power.
And I saw it on Nextdoor that they might be evacuating, so I left work and I hurried home. When I just got up here, I figured out I didn't have power. And so it's going to be a cold night. I might be going to stay at someone else's house.
Luckily for a lot of the residents that live on this street, they have had their power returned to them. But I did speak to a Duke Energy repairman who was out here. He told me that they're leaving for now, but they will be coming back. He says the crews that are working to repair the gas line are at least going to be out here for another 4 hours. We're going to continue to follow this story and keep you updated with what we find out.
What a huge amount of impact. Willie Danley live in Sanford. Thank you.
This next video is a sad situation.
December 13th, 2022, Susquehanna, Pennsylvania. A smoldering crater now sits littered with the debris of what was previously the Barber residence.
Apart from loss of life, it is definitely the worst thing that I could ever imagine.
Yeah, nothing prepares you for it.
Nothing prepares you for it.
The house was undergoing some sewer work, when a plumbing company struck a gas line. Chad and Jennifer Barber were flying back from a trip while their 2 daughters were still at home.
They heard a loud noise coming from the basement. I hit a gas line. You need to get out of the house.
After firefighters and gas company first responders arrived on the scene and assessed the situation, they immediately began evacuating residents from their homes.
Fire service had gone inside the house and revealed that there was a high explosive limit on their devices that read the amount of volume of gas.
I got a little bit of cell signal. I got a text message, and it was from my one daughter, and she said, "Where are you? Why aren't you picking up your phone? Help, please help." My heart just sunk. I mean, we're still on a plane. We haven't even landed yet, and we were absolutely frantic.
And then, just 30 minutes after the gas line was initially damaged, the Barbers' home, their lives, reduced to rubble in the blink of an eye.
My older daughter says that they just screamed and wailed, just thinking the cat is in there with them and everything they have.
Residents of the neighborhood were startled from the blast and awestruck from what they saw when they emerged from their homes.
Tremendous shockwave. The house shook. If you'd have told me the roof caved in, I would have believed you.
Definitely just a big boom, and we just saw the roof fly up and furniture go everywhere. It's just all of a sudden, the house just went up in flames, and then black smoke. It was like snowing debris.
I could see the smoke from a distance, and I said, that can't be in our neighborhood.
That explosion occurs literally seconds after the last firefighter exited the front of the home, and he was blown several feet away from the home. He suffered no injuries to date.
The explosion injured 2 people, a neighbor and one of the gas company first responders. Both of them were released from the hospital the same day. Over 20 residents were forced to leave their homes and stay at a nearby church for their safety.
The Red Cross opened a shelter at Our Savior Lutheran Church for more than 24 residents forced out of their homes.
My sister and I, we still have to study. Like, we're up at church right now studying because we have a final tomorrow, and so it's just very hard to focus.
As firefighters put out the burning remains of the home and gas service is restored to the rest of the neighborhood, a terrified community is looking for answers, and officials begin the work to find them. After 10 months of radio silence, the Pennsylvania Public Utilities Commission released an update of their ongoing investigation. Detailing all of the information they have gathered so far, we can see from the breakdown of events that on December 12th, the plumbing company placed an emergency ticket with Pennsylvania One Call to mark the lines around the house. The gas company did not mark their line that day, and on the following day, the plumbers began their excavation work and struck the gas service to the house. Since the making of this video, there have been no new developments to this investigation. While there are still too many unknown variables for us to jump to conclusions, we can agree an error was made. An error that left the Barber family picking up what remains of their lives and rebuild.
Well, we're kind of settled into a temporary new life. You know, it feels very surreal. It's like our entire life of nearly 30 years blown up.
We know that God has a purpose in this. We described it as this inner peace that things will work out, that things will come out better people on the other end of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2024 Damage Prevention Awareness Seminar hosted by Blue Stakes of Utah 811. As you can see on the screen here, it is our 50-year anniversary. We have 2 co-sponsors, as we have in years past, and we're grateful for these groups and individuals. The AGC, the Associated General Contractors, as well as the UPA, the Utah Pipeline Association. Hope my voice will hold out today. Today's agenda, we'll have a pipeline awareness presentation presented by the Utah Pipeline Association. I'm going to have each presenter introduce themselves. Next, we'll move into a locate safety awareness presentation presented by ELM. We'll then move into the Pipeline Safety Enforcement Code video presented by the Department of Commerce. It will then be my pleasure to address you. Then we'll move into our prize drawings that our exhibitors as well as Blue Stakes have provided here today. And then again, if you did not have a chance to visit with the industry experts around the perimeter of the room, if you would please do so, that would be greatly appreciated. They spend a lot of time, effort, energy, and expense to be here and support and help you put a name with a face. Again, that pre-damage situation, it's always nice to have some kind of a relationship with these operators. Today I have some learning objectives for you. We hope that you will know what to do in case of a pipeline emergency. That will be our first presenter. Second presenter, do your part when creating a locate request. Third will be by the video, understand damage prevention and the enforcement. Fourth, understand the processes for after-hour emergencies. That will be my presentation as well as the next one. We hope that you have a better understanding of the Blue Stake laws and processes. Today, if you'd be so kind as to silence your phones, that would be greatly appreciated. If you do need to take a call, please go all the way out. You can go through the corridor. There are some seats out there, but seats all the way through the corridor as well. Today, when you checked in, you were given what we call a response clicker. Today is an interactive seminar. We're going to be polling the audience. We're going to be doing a lot of questions, and so we hope that you will respond. I'm going to explain briefly how this works. On the back of your clicker, you will see a device ID number. It is very, very small. Sometimes I've seen people taking pictures of those. So at the very end of the seminar today, the device ID will be how Blue Stakes, we are awarding 3 gift cards here on the screen, $100, $50, and $25. We will always try and give you a heads up of when to get your clickers ready. Now your clickers are very self-explanatory, but let me give you a high-level overview. True, false questions today. True will be A or number 1 on your clicker. False will be number 2 or B on your clicker. Multiple choice, I think you've caught on already. All right, get your clickers ready. We're going to test them out. It's interesting to note, this software is very intuitive. I thoroughly enjoy utilizing this because we actually take your responses back and we learn from those. So the first 2 questions, demographic questions. There is no right or wrong answer on these. We're just trying to see who's in the audience. And the way that we're going to award the 3 gifts are by, the first 3 gift cards are by speed of answer and accuracy. So keep that in mind. We want you to go as fast as you can, but yet be as accurate as you can. If you've hit the wrong button, you can always change your answer. This software will only recognize the last click before I close polling that you have keyed in. Here's the first question. Is this the first Blue Stake seminar that you've attended? A or number 1, yes. B or number 2, no. Please key in your response. I have an indicator on my screen. I know how many clickers we've given out, and so we will go as fast as you participate. I'm just watching the indicator. I've received a text from out front how many clickers we have. Thank you, Mary. Okay, excellent. I have all of you. Polling is closed. 36% of you, first-time attendees. Outstanding. We love the first-time attendees. We love the repeat attendees. Again, hopefully that all of you today will walk away with knowledge. You'll be reflecting upon safety. You'll have some, we hope, aha moments as we go through the seminar today. Here's the second demographics question. What is your role in the excavation process? Do you create tickets? Are you an excavator? C, do you create your own tickets and then you go out and excavate those? Perhaps you're a smaller company. D, are you a locator? E, a member operator? Or F, both D and E, you are a locator for a member operating company. G, a land surveyor or engineer. And H, none of the above. You just saw all the white trucks out there. You have one, so you pulled in. By the way, there is a white truck out there with your lights on. Come on, laugh. That's the only joke I've got today. I have a white truck. It's probably mine. All right, let's close the polling and see how you do. Okay, a good sampling across the board. Today, we are going, as I've previously mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot of questions. We're going to do the pre-questions, then we'll educate in between, and then we'll do the post-questions. So all of the questions that you're receiving up front from all the presenters, we will recap those on the post, and we'll see how the percentage has increased. If you would help me, put your hands together, and we'll have our first presenter, Tom, from the Pipeline Association presentation. Tom, coming up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for coming to this today. My name is Tom Dennis, and I work for Chevron Pipeline Company. But I'm not here to just represent Chevron. I'm here to represent all of the pipeline companies in our association. There's about 25 different pipeline companies who have pipelines spread all throughout Utah and all throughout the United States. And so, even though you're here right now, even if you go out of state and are working out of state, the same principles and same things that we're going to talk to you about today apply. So the information, it sounds really dorky to be here about pipeline safety, but this stuff is imperative. All of these accidents that Spencer was talking about earlier and the videos that he showed, those are 100% preventable. And we can avoid all these accidents and deaths and the tragedies. The pipelines vary in size and in pressure, and everything is a case-by-case basis. Some of these pipelines are under tremendous amount of pressure into the PSI. Some of the pipelines range in size from 8 inches to 42 inches big. And the pressure in them can be up to 1,300 pounds of pressure. How much does a standard air compressor typically have in it? 100 pounds of pressure. So when you're talking 100 pounds of pressure in an air compressor to 1,300 pounds in a pipeline, big difference in the consequences of an incident can be catastrophic. One of the principles and one of the basic things of pipelines and their operations is the pipelines are laid in a right-of-way. The right-of-way is basically a corridor where we have the right to lay the pipelines, but these also apply to electrical transmission lines and all other types of utilities. Somebody on the front row yesterday, right when I was here, raised their hand and said, "How wide is a right-of-way?" And the answer to that, and the answer to a lot of things today are, it depends. Right-of-ways can vary in size. On the Chevron pipeline system, just here in Utah, we have 3 widths. We have 16.5, 33, and 50. So it can be a case-by-case basis. So that's reason number one why you're gonna wanna call Blue Stakes and work with the operators to find out how wide the right-of-way is and where the right-of-way is. The second thing is what size is your pipeline? Again, all of the pipelines vary in size, and again, it's critical that you work with your operator to know where those are. One of the differences between these large transmission lines and, say, like if you're doing a project out on the road out here, you may call Blue Stakes, and the operators or the utility companies may come mark their right-of-way or their lines where, say, a water line is. where a small Dominion distribution line is, or where a telephone line may be. And they'll mark the pavement, they'll mark the grass, and they'll leave it up to you to proceed with your project. But on a transmission line project, or if you're working on near transmission lines, the operator will be there from day one till the end of your project. And this is all no cost to you. We will come out and we will be there to ensure, number one, that our pipeline and our infrastructure is protected. But number two, we're not here to slow your projects down and to stop your projects. We're here to help your project become successful. And again, in all the videos that Spence shows, those are not successful projects, and you don't want to be asked those questions of what happened. So we are here to help you and help your projects be successful. This is a picture of a pipeline right-of-way. And which way is the right-of-way running? Is it running across the screen, or long ways? Across it or long ways? This is a little tricky. So if you look at the pipeline markers on the right side, you can kind of see a couple of the yellow lines going down the right-of-way. So it is running long ways. Pipeline markers are designed, and by federal law, they have to be in line of sight from pipeline marker to pipeline marker. So you can stand on the right-of-way and see, okay, the pipeline goes that way. And you should be able to have a good idea of where it is. It's important to note that these pipeline markers are not installed right on top of the pipeline, because if you have a pipeline like this, you don't want to be driving a post down into the pipeline. So frequently they are off to the side of it. So again, it's imperative that you work with the pipeline operators so that they can locate the pipeline to show you exactly where it is and help you avoid it. This I really like this picture for a couple of reasons. In the front of the picture, the bottom right, you see the warning, the pipeline marker sign that says, hey, look, there's a pipeline in the area. Then in the background, you see going up the hill, there's like a little strip of land of just dirt. That's the pipeline right-of-way. By federal law, the operators are required to keep their pipeline right-of-way clear of vegetation for a number of reasons. But one thing that I really like about this is in the middle of the picture, you can see those mini excavators basically parked on top of the right-of-way. Are they parked there? Are they getting ready to dig? We don't know. One of the stories that I was a part of a couple years ago was just down the street from this. And since our pipeline's there, our pipeline doesn't move, we have a pretty good relationship with some of the neighboring property owners. And one day a property owner called me and said, hey, there's somebody's out in your right-of-way digging with hand shovels, or they're just digging, is the phone call that I got. And when I drove up there and I was talking to the guy that was working, he was just a contractor, and he said, I'm just using hand shovels, hand tools. I don't need 811 Blue Stakes ticket to dig with hand tools. And I was like, that's not necessarily accurate. Because what can happen if you're digging with hand tools and you hit, say, a Rocky Mountain Power line or a small Dominion Energy distribution line? You're going to have an incident. And so in your book, page 46, page 46, number 4, it says, it gives the definition of excavate and excavation. It means an operation in which earth, rock, or other material on or below the ground is moved or displaced by tools, equipment, or explosives. So I like the explosives part too. So even if you're just using hand tools, it's imperative that you call Blue Stakes to avoid any incidents. The Chevron pipeline has been in the ground for about 75 years. Actually, last year was our 75-year anniversary. I know that some of the Dominion lines have been in the ground for like 92, 93 years. And so a lot of times when the pipelines were built, there was nothing around. It was just rural area, and there was nothing. As developments grow, there's no arguing that growth has been crazy here the last couple of years. The developments encroach and get closer and closer to our pipeline systems. And so here on the left side, you can see the two yellow arrows, but next to the two yellow arrows are pointing to two permanent line markers that are that are always in the ground there. But then when you call 811 Blue Stakes, the company will come out and they'll put in flags, and you can see those pink flags that are in that left picture. That's somebody who's called Blue Stakes, and they've had their system flagged. Now here's what I like on the right side. Again, there's some pipeline markers that are highlighted by the yellow arrows. A couple years ago, we had an operator call 811 Blue Stakes, and a little bit of this information is going to be covered by Spence later. Your 811 Blue Stakes ticket is good for 2 weeks. But in this particular case, the operator or the contractor called 811 Blue Stakes. We came out, we marked our pipeline. They worked very carefully around the pipeline. They dug out the footing and foundation for their house, got everything poured, and everything was going well. And then probably about 6 weeks later, again, after the Blue Stakes ticket had expired, and during the course of construction, as it sometimes happens, our line markers, especially the temporary ones, had been moved and displaced. The contractor did not renew his Blue Stakes ticket, so we did not know what was going on. And so the contractor went out and he was backfilling the holes that he's dug and backfilling the footing and foundations, and ended up hitting and scraping the top of our pipeline system. Again, if we'd been called and been on site, we could have said, okay, we're here, we're this deep, and this is how deep you can use your mechanical equipment with, but beyond that, you need to stop and use hand shovels. So again, another incident that could have totally been prevented. This is another great example of growth in the area. This is Kern River, 1992. I believe that this is in Las Vegas. And this is simply about 25, 30 years later, massive development in and around a pipeline system. Pipeline markers, they come in a variety of sizes and shapes, and pipeline markers are, again, line of sight. They're at every road crossing, they're at every waterway crossing, they're at every railroad crossing. In the road, sometimes they will look different, like the round one on the far right of the screen. They'll be embedded into the concrete, into the curb and gutter. Again, you may not know how wide the right-of-way is, how deep the pipeline is, how large the pipeline is. But on the pipeline markers, they will always call out three things: who the operator of the pipeline system is, what the product inside it is, and they'll have an 800 contact number. So if you see any of these and you're going to be working in around it, call Blue Stakes, and feel free to call the pipeline operator. Again, when we come out, free of charge. You will never be charged for any of our time or services. Again, pipeline markers with the company, the product, and the contact number. Now, a leak. How do you find a leak in the pipeline system? There's 3 S's. Smell, which is kind of the least accurate way. Sound, listen for a hissing sound, especially if it's a gas product, it'll be a loud hissing sound. Or sight, you'll be able to see some signs. You'll be able to see something coming out of the ground, crude oil or whatever it may be. Pooling product or dead vegetation, all signs of a pipeline leak. Mercaptan is put in the natural gas system, but only in the distribution lines. It's not put in the transmission lines. So again, going back to the last slide, smell is probably the least accurate way to notice if there's a leak. Some of the do's and some of the don'ts of excavating around the pipeline. Call 811 before you excavate. It's free. Do ensure that the pipeline representative is on site at the location. Follow all the state laws. Adhere to what the pipeline representatives and the requirements are. This is for your protection. And stop work and report any suspected damage to the pipeline. The don'ts. Don't perform any excavation work without an active one-call blue stakes ticket. Don't excavate around the pipeline without a pipeline representative on site. Again, it's free. We won't charge you for it. Don't cross a buried pipeline with heavy equipment. Sometimes just the weight of the equipment can damage the pipeline system because, again, nobody knows how deep it is. Don't try to repair any damage that may have been caused by your excavation. Leave it to us. We will take care of it. And again, like the house scenario that I mentioned, don't backfill if there's any suspected damage. There's all sorts of incidents that can be avoided from hitting a pipeline, especially a transmission pipeline. Up in Spokane, Washington, just a couple of months ago in November, somebody was digging and hit a transmission line. And what that did is it not only damaged the transmission line, but it interrupted service to the local gas companies. So the distribution companies did not have product to share to their customers. What happens when in November you don't have natural gas coming into your home? It's not very fun, especially up in Spokane. What happens to restaurants who are trying to cook and serve food for customers and clients? No natural gas. Incidents like this to repair are costs on the average of $1 to $1.5 million a day of just man hours. And this goes on for about 10 days. You're talking tens of millions of dollars. Again, this type of damage is 100% preventable. In case of emergencies, do not try to stop the leak of the product by yourself. Do not close valves at the facilities. Leave it to us. We will take care of it. Get your crew out of the way and into a safe place. Call 911 and call the operator. Again, where's the operator's number? On the line markers. Key takeaways: pipeline operators must and will have a representative on site whenever you're doing your project. Some of the pipelines are above ground. Typically those are fenced, but again, call an operator even if you can see the pipeline. Some pipelines, again, the depth of cover will vary through erosion and other activities. So some pipelines can be exposed through erosion or other things. And this is an important one, and Spencer will go over it later. State law requires that mechanical equipment must stay 2 feet away from the pipeline. And again, how do you know you're 2 feet away? You don't necessarily know, but our representative will be there and help you to know where that 2-foot buffer is. One of the pipeline operators last year alone had about 14 hits on their 1,400 strikes on their pipeline system, and 28% of those were from contractors who did not have blue stake tickets. All right, who's ready to be quizzed and tested on this? Remember, you guys can get some great prizes on this. Okay, what information is required on all pipeline markers? The product transported, the operating company, emergency number, B, pipeline material and diameter of the pipeline, or C, number of pipelines and operating pressure. Just another second. You guys are good. A, 92%, the product transported, the operating company, and the emergency contact number. Well done. What depth are pipelines buried at? A, 4 feet, B, 3 feet, C, it varies, or D, 5 foot? Couple more people. There you go. C, it varies. And again, just because you had a prior project where you knew the pipeline was 6 foot deep, in other areas it might not be. In the event of a pipeline emergency, which of the following actions should be taken? A, fix it yourself and don't necessarily tell anyone. B, call 911 from a safe place. C, call the pipeline emergencies number, the contact number on the pipeline marker. Or D, both B and C. You guys are doing awesome on that. 3, 2, 1. Both B and C. Get away from the area and call 911 and the operator. Okay, if you damage a pipeline while excavating, which of the following actions should be taken? Inform the operator of the damaged pipe or coating. B, try to fix it yourself and don't report it. C, stop work and secure the area. Or both A and C. Couple more seconds. Here we go. Both A and C. Okay, when would a pipeline operator need to be on site? A, when working inside the right-of-way or outside of the buffer zone. B should always be required, so I don't even know why they put that in. C, 2 weeks after the work is completed. Or D, they don't need to be, the line has been marked. Couple more people. Okay, here we go. You ready? A, 94% when working inside the pipeline right of way or inside the buffer zone. You guys did well. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I'm going to turn this over to Harley with ELM.
Morning. Everybody excited to be here this morning? Excellent. Always like it when we can pack a room with excavators, locators, and utilities and talk overall damage prevention. So I attended my first Blue Stakes meeting in 2002 in Logan, Utah. I've been a part of them ever since. I like them. They're great. I get to take away a lot every year from these new ideas to take home back to our company and try different things to help improve overall damages, right? So we're going to cover a few things today here, and to me it's about us working together, communicating, locators and excavators. When we're doing that, it works. We can prevent line strikes overall, regardless of fault or liability. It seems like we talk a lot of fault and liability, and we should be talking overall damage prevention. And regardless of fault or liability, just go for 0 line strikes, right? That's what we should be talking about. So how effective Blue Stake requests improve locators' efficiencies? Factors that impact on-time performance for locators. So these are just some of the topics we'll cover today. Requesting oversized dig areas, not reasonably updating project tickets, lack of white lining, and access issues. These are some of the topics that ends up delaying your guys' tickets from getting marked timely and accurately. And those are the 2 big things you'll hear me talk a lot about, timely and accurate. That's what we want out there. That's what we train our guys for. Accurate locates. You guys need to be safe out there digging on our marks, and they need to be on time. We don't need to be delaying your projects. So we're going to ask, today I'm going to be asking a lot of the excavators to work directly with us and help us prevent some of these delays with working with you guys. So let's start with request an oversized dig area. We see this quite a bit. Mark entire intersection. Type of work, installing a sign. Ask for the entire intersection to be marked, but the sign is going in on the northeast corner. We could do a 10-foot radius around this, but yet our guys taking the time to mark all of this in the entire intersection when there's one spot being dug on. And guess what? It takes more time for our guys, so he's not getting to possibly your next ticket or somebody else's next ticket. We want to make sure we have the marks accurately out there on time for your job, but we don't need our guys marking a bunch of unnecessary area out there because it's just delaying either your next ticket or somebody else's ticket, okay? Each locate request takes time to perform safely, accurately, and completely. Typically, the larger the job is, the longer it takes. More time is required when troubleshooting is necessary. And we do a lot of that troubleshooting when we're marking. So if we're delayed because of troubleshooting, again, we want to make sure that we get accurate marks on the ground. So we may take a little extra time getting it marked, but we're doing that so that the marks are accurate. Making sure we're checking documentation, drawings, all of that. Because sometimes that signal is just not good enough to put the paint on the ground for you guys. Excavators and locators benefit from understanding the relationship between efficiency and effectiveness. Locators are more efficient when they receive effective locates requests from excavators. Excavators are more effective when locates are completed efficiently. Excavators and locators working together is a vital component in damage prevention. And that's a statement that always rings home to me. I tend to fall back on that a lot. As long as we're communicating and we hold up to our end of the agreement, you guys hold up to yours, things work. We see it in a lot of areas where it's all about communication. So efficiency, some of the important things to a locator: accurate, complete, on time. Improve safety, less time in streets, yards, traffic, all of that. Effectiveness for excavators, we believe, achieving goal with no delays for you guys. Excavating around good marks, right? Accurate marks. That's what we want every day on every job, every line. So this is, I like to show real examples. This is a real ticket that was called in. So it called for both sides of the street, front and long. Our experienced technician had to walk up to each one of these houses, hook to the gas meter, mark the service line out, mark that entire main. On an experienced locator, it takes them about 90 minutes to complete this job, give or take. Some utilities are going to take longer depending on what they got to deal with. And this is what was really being dug on, was the south side of the street. They were not going anywhere on the north. So we spent, that could have been cut in half onto your guys' next ticket. And that's really what we want, right? Here's another example that I like to bring up is that on the left here, the dig area called for entire lot. On the right, they were digging around the water meter in the front of the lot. Could have done a 10-foot radius around that water meter, we'd have been on to the next ticket. Okay? So we really want to make sure that we get your guys' tickets marked accurately and timely. And again, if we're out there spending time marking a bunch of unnecessary stuff, we're just holding up somebody or your next ticket, and we don't want to do that. So the next thing, updating large project tickets. A significant negative impact for on-time performance is time spent on large projects. Okay, we've kind of been talking about that. Here's a little of example of inefficient, ineffective, and efficient and effective. When we're talking about updating project tickets, just the blocks, if you're already excavated blocks 1 and 2, and then you update the ticket, but you don't update starting at block 3, we're down there marking block 1 and 2 for you. When you're already done with that, you need us up top, right? Here's a better example of a real ticket. This original ticket was called in from 1300 east to 2000 east. Okay, our guy goes out, marks it up. Take quite a bit of time to mark that. Then the first update comes in, as you can see, the second graph, it's a quarter of that project's been done. But when the ticket was updated, they updated from 1300 the full ticket again. So we either have to call you guys, get the documentation, get an agreement in place that, okay, we're gonna start here and we're gonna continue on, or we have to mark it. And remember that documentation, if we make an agreement and don't mark what the ticket says, we have to have that documented, tied to the ticket, and we hold that information for 7 years in case something happens. So we're either spending time documenting or we're marking it out. And unfortunately, a lot of times what we end up doing is marking it out, and it's a lot of wasted, unnecessary marks. And as you can see, the second update, we're halfway through that job, but yet still it came in as a full update from 1300 east. And then that final update, we would have spent about probably 15, 20 minutes marking that last little stretch there and on to your guys' next tickets. White lining, I talk about white lining a lot. We operate in a lot of states where white lining is mandatory. The state of Utah is not. But I like to talk about it because I do see in other states that we operate in where it's mandatory, is it is beneficial to have white lining out there. And I know driving in this morning, you're probably thinking, okay, how do you want me to white line this morning, right? That's a little challenging, and we're covered with white stuff. Reno, Nevada, they actually, I'll show an example. So reasons to white line every time. Information provided by the excavator working in the field is often difficult to describe to the call center. Locate tickets called in by office personnel who are often unfamiliar with the physical area can create confusion. And then this typically results in requesting larger areas for ease of the requester, but creates unnecessary effort and time spent for the locators. So here's an example of Reno, Nevada, and trust me, Reno, Nevada gets a lot of snow. But in Reno, Nevada, white lining is mandatory. If that ticket is not white lined, it's not a valid ticket. We move on. Positive response, that ticket is not white lined. So as you can see in the photo on the right there, that dig area is very well described, bracketed in the white lined area. That's where we know they're going to be digging. We mark, 5 feet or so beyond the white painted area, just so that you guys have a direction of where it's going in case for some reason you have to maybe move out of the white line. But there again, if they do, they're supposed to call in another ticket. So white lining precisely guides our locators to the exact boundaries where the excavation will occur. White lining helps ease the burden of locators' heavy workloads by giving them more time to accomplish accurate locates in the reduced excavation area. White lining reduces the number of delayed locates. And again, that's a big one for me. I don't want any delayed locates for you guys. White lining makes job sites safer for locators by reducing walking, bending, accessing structures, and the big one is time spent in traffic. White lining prevents excessive markings, which leads to complaints, and we do get a lot of those homeowner complaints. I'm sure you guys have dealt with them as well. After we get out there and mark all your dig area, I'm sure you guys hear about it a lot on the job site from a lot of homeowners. I know we do. So tips for white lining: identify your company's name and or blue stake number in the white lined area. We obviously recommend we take photos of all of our marks. Hopefully you guys do it once it's marked before you start your job. Ensure access is available for locators. If you don't have white paint, use flags or stakes. In Nevada, when it's snowing, like right today, I'm sure they're getting covered too. They use white flags for the boundaries, the corners or the area, and then they write their ticket number with a Sharpie on that white flag. In Nevada, where white lining is mandatory, if we show up in the white lining, we're not sure it's not matching the description on the ticket, then we can pick up the phone and call you and start talking through, okay, where are we actually going to be? We can see the white paint, it's not matching the description. And that's a phone call that we definitely will want to make and make sure that when we get this marked for you, it's where you need. Another delayed ticket, access issues. Some of the common reasons for access issues, we deal with the threatening dogs, threatening animals all the time. Locked gates, homeowners not home, and then that upset residents that were on their property, don't want us anywhere around their property, and then the troubled locates. These are just some of the reasons that we have delays. And driving in this morning, we do a lot of late starts with our guys. We like to let snow plows get out, get the streets cleared off, get the main traffic off the road. So sometimes when the weather's real bad like this, we'd rather have them call you guys and delay the ticket a little bit than to be out there in this, what we all got to drive through this morning. Many factors can delay utilities being marked on time. Effective locate requests that are white lined help reduce or eliminate delays in your locate ticket. Updating large project tickets to exclude completed areas helps locators be more efficient on time. And again, I can't say it enough. Accurate on time for you guys. That's what we're after. That's what we want every time you call a ticket in. So get your clickers ready. All right, excavators can make blue stake locate requests more effective by A, always requesting entire lots, B, only requesting the areas that need marked, and we've got C, always requesting both sides of the street, D, not using white lines to identify dig areas. And they're clicking in. Guys are getting there, almost. Okay. Great, 94 of you are correct. Only request areas they need marked. Single resident lot locate requests take the same amount of time to locate and mark whether you request the entire lot to be marked or a specific area of the lot. True or false? Be an easy one there. We'll get almost there. Stragglers. All right, here we go. 93% of you are correct. False. Last one. Effective and efficient locate requests, A, are only important to locators. B, focus on the process. C, improve safety for both excavator and locators. Or D, focus on the results. Okay, we're almost there. A few left. Here we go. 92% of you are correct. Improve safety for both excavators and locators. All right, thank you for your time here this morning. And we're going to turn this over to a video with Logan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Logan Vollinger. I'm going to be talking to you all a bit today about my group, Utah Pipeline Safety, and how we fit into the regulatory side of things when it comes to damage prevention in particular. So most of y'all probably heard of PHMSA. It stands for the Pipeline Hazardous Material Safety Administration. They are the federal group that has delegated compliance with the Code of Federal Regulations to our group here at the state level. The Public Service Commission has adopted the federal regulations into our Utah State Code in Title 54, which we're going to talk about quite a bit today. In that Title 54, a number of chapters describe our authority and other rules regarding pipeline safety. My group only regulates intra-state natural gas pipelines, meaning pipelines that begin and end within the state of Utah. The Public Service Commission gave my pipeline safety group that authority in Chapter 13 of that Utah State Code in Title 54 I mentioned earlier. Now, when it comes to hazardous liquid pipelines in Utah, those all fall under PHMSA's jurisdiction. Sometimes the industry refers to pipelines as DOT regulated. Now, this refers to PHMSA and the regs that they have developed and enforce. There's other aspects of the Department of Transportation, such as a FAA and all sorts of other groups, I guess, that fall under the DOT there, but PHMSA is the one that we deal with regarding pipelines in particular. When it comes to damage prevention laws in Utah Code, you can find those in Chapter 8A of that Title 54 I keep bringing up. This Chapter 8A runs through important aspects of the law that we'll be touching on all day here, such as that 2 full business day requirement of notification before excavation, not using power equipment within 24 inches of markings, excavators being liable for damages that do occur within that 24 inch of the operator's markings, and who to call and what to do if a damage does occur. It also runs through enforcement guidelines, which we will touch on in the next slide here. So when it comes to enforcement, our pipeline safety group doesn't directly write up a violation or a ticket on site when we get a call and respond to an incident. But we do go out and write reports that we then refer to the Attorney General once we go out and document these incidents as they occur. In addition to monitoring gas operators' procedures and records for compliance with PHMSA regulations, we also respond to incidents involving natural gas pipelines. So if a probable cause involves a violation of Title 54, Chapter 8A, the incident report that we generate is referred to the Attorney General's office, possibly with a recommendation for enforcement. Currently, the Attorney General's office is sending warning letters to operators and excavators based on Utah Pipeline Safety's referral when there are code violations, informing responsible parties that penalties could be imposed depending on repeat offenders or the severity of the incident, for example. Now, this slide kind of runs through the actual penalties if the law is violated. And those run up to about $5,000 per violation with a maximum cap of $100,000 per excavation activity. In addition to that, we can add another $500 on top if that excavator failed to provide proper notice to 811 Blue Stakes. And those penalties just go into the state of Utah general fund. All right, with that, I'll turn it back over to Spence with Blue Stakes. Thank you all for your time and attention.
Thanks, everybody. I want to thank personally the three previous presenters. I think they did a great job. A lot of valuable information has been shared there. It is now my pleasure to address you. I'd like to just show you the staff at Blue Stakes. These are the men and women who support the center and who are there on the other end of 811 if you need to utilize our locate specialists and have them help you articulate what you're trying to put down on paper. Again, we're going to be talking about our web-based applications as we move forward. I always like to cover the mission statement. It is certainly threefold: to promote public safety, to protect the underground utilities, and minimize service interruptions. And we do that primarily twofold: by processing accurate locate requests, as well as providing damage prevention education such as we're doing here today. We are a nonprofit organization. We are governed by a board of directors. Today we have two of our board members here, Jeff Hansen from Dominion Energy. Jeff is in the back, and also Mark Kuhn on the left side here. Thanks, Jeff and Mark. Mark is with Rocky Mountain Power. We are funded by 642 owner-operators who own underground utilities. A lot of people ask me as we travel around, are you state funded? We are not. Now you know how Blue Stakes is funded. Every time that there is a locate request and it is mapped out and it is in one of these areas, these companies, they pay a small fee to Blue Stakes. So if you guys do updated tickets, and we'll get into this later, but if you do an updated ticket, know that the owner-operators are paying for that updated ticket. Sometimes an updated ticket is necessary, and sometimes it is not. Maybe your job is complete. It needs to be crossed off the list. Moving forward here, our web address is bluestakes.org. Here is just the top portion of our website. Again, right below the address, you can see the tool navigation bar. A lot of information on there, a drop down underneath every one of those. So just a plethora amount of information. We are hopefully helping you accomplish your job every day. Again, throughout all of the cities and towns and communities, we are trying to do what we can do to help everyone in our great state reduce, minimize damages and deaths that do occur on an occasion. Now you can see here, we've broken it down into four main categories: the DIYers, the professional excavators, the facility owners, as well as the engineers. And you mainly here today, the professional excavator and operators. So now let's explode this a little bit. You have, again, as you could see on the previous screen, your own section, professional excavators. Again, in the blue and green links there, some very pertinent information, but then if you'll use our tool navigation bar, click on resources, then you'll see all of the additional resources that are available to you. Same for the facility owner. You have your own tab there. The blue and the green, pertinent information that you might use on a regular basis. Click on resources, drop down, and here is all of additional information that would help you. At the bottom of every screen on our website, we have our apps. If you have not participated and are currently using those, we would encourage you to do so. Whether you're Apple or Android, you can download the app. Please check that out. It is very user-friendly. Everything that we do at Blue Stakes is certainly to promote public safety around the underground utility lines. Just because you've made the call does not mean that you are through. Potentially, you still have liability. Make sure that your lines are marked. You've heard the previous presenters, things that you can do. Go out there and do a site survey. Yes, you've started off doing your due diligence when you've contacted Blue Stakes, but there is so much more to do that. And again, contacting us either on 811 or via our web-based applications. Know what's below. Certainly call 811 or contact Blue Stakes before you do any digging. And our web address again, bluestakes.org. Your safety is our business. We believe that. Again, we've already mentioned, we've been around for 50 years. Please, please utilize the resources that you have at your fingertips on your phones, your computers, whatever. It's already been mentioned several times. It is a free service and it is the law. The law indicates that if you are simply displacing the earth, what does that mean? If you are truly just putting a shovel in the ground, are you not displacing the earth? Absolutely. And with that being said, now we're not talking about mechanized equipment. You guys all do the mechanized, but both a shovel, any mechanized equipment, you need to adhere to the state law. Make sure that you have a valid locate request. We retain this information for 5 years on our long-term servers. And if and when something gets ugly and goes to court, we will have documentation. Hopefully you all have documentation. It doesn't happen very often, but please keep that in mind. Get your clickers ready. We would like to test your knowledge now. Here comes the first question. The state law requires anyone who is digging to contact Blue Stakes to submit a locate request. Is that true? Number 1 on your clicker, or A? Is it false? B, or number 2 on your clicker? The responses are coming in very fast. Thank you. Again, the faster you go, the faster I'll be able to go. We'll go ahead and close the polling. 100%, outstanding, absolutely. Way to listen. Next question. Now, before I move forward, so we left with you the excavator guidebook today. It was updated in 2022. If you have an older version, discard that. We're going to be referencing that, not physically today, but per the page numbers of where some of these questions can be located. That particular question is on page 50. Now, the back portion of the book is a reproduction of the Utah state law. So on page 50, that is under Notice of Excavation, the section. Next question. Who can enforce the Blue Stake laws in Utah by pursuing civil penalties? A, the operator, B, the excavator, C, Attorney General, or D, all of the above? We just want to give you some information that you might not be aware of. Again, the responses are coming in a little slower. I'm just watching the indicator. Just give it your best guess. Thank you. Polling is closed. 53% of you are correct. It is all of the above. Next question. Oh, excuse me. That can be found on page 64, 65, and 66 in the law under the enforcement section. Damage prevention is a shared responsibility. Is that true or false? A, number 1, B, false, number 2. Appreciate the responses. 96% of you are correct. Yes, that is true. I hope that the majority of you know the answer to this next question. What are the Blue Stake Notification Center hours? We changed our hours a little over 2 years ago. That was approved by our board of directors. Again, we're here to give you information that hopefully you can use as you move forward. Responses coming in slow. Take a guess at it. Just a few more, please. 38% of you, yes, the majority, are correct. It is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. We are closed Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays. If you go to our website, on the homepage, you'd scroll all the way to the bottom. There are all the legal holidays that we recognize. There is also a link to a PDF. You can print that out, keep it at your desk, take a snapshot of it, whatever works. But again, we're trying to give you all the information we can. Next question. Submitting an online locate request is available 24/7 at bluestakes.org. Is that true or false? So now you know our business hours. Can you submit a locate request day or night? I'm seeing a few heads, and yes, those that I was watching, you are correct. Okay, let's close the polling. Very good, 96% of you, absolutely you can. Just a little side note on this. When you submit an online locate request, it's been brought to my attention from our locate specialists as well as the locating companies. What we're finding happens more often than not, and we need your help in this. When you submit an online locate request, our locate specialists, our web team, they will come in. There are several online submissions that are total junk, and those will get automatically deleted from the database. You will get an email that says your request was deleted. So keep track. Please know that. If there is just one or two tweaks on your online submission, our locate specialists, they will follow up with you. And what is happening, they will use the CBR number, that's the can be reached number, to call you to get clarification. Same with the locators. If they, if it once flows through, they will call you. They need help. This has already been addressed this morning. What we're finding in-house at Blue Stakes, the mailboxes are full. Perhaps the number is going to an administrative assistant. We want the most accurate number on these locate requests so that the locators can reach you, so that the Blue Stakes locate specialists can reach you and get clarification. You've heard the other presenters. We're all in this together. We want to do the best job we can, so help us do that by clearing out your voicemail boxes, keeping them empty, giving us a correct, accurate number of maybe the supervisor or foreman or the actual individual out there on site that could really, really clarify. Thank you. Next question. How soon before digging do you need to create a locate request? Per the state law, you guys are the experts. I know you know the correct answer. 12, 24, 36, 48 hours, or 2 full business days prior to digging, per the state law. Responses are coming in pretty good, pretty steady. I'm going to close polling in 3, 2, 1. Well done. 86% of you, absolutely. It is 48 hours or 2 full business days prior to your excavation beginning. This can be found on page 50 in the back of the book under the state law, like we've addressed earlier, on number 2B. Next question. What is the life of a locate request? 10 or 14 business days, 10 or 14 calendar days, or until the job is done? Again, you're the professionals. Tom actually gave this answer away, which is great. I've given several away. Your little color code card on your table, that gives away a lot of the answers. All right, I'm just watching the indicator here. We'll go ahead and close polling and see how you do. 67% of you are spot on. It is 14 calendar days. This can be found in the back of your book on page 51, 6A. I'm a very visual person. I suspect some of you are. Go with me on this example. Where the Blue Stakes logo is on Monday the 8th, say you created your ticket, hypothetical, let's say 9 a.m. exact. You are valid and ready to dig, barring any unforeseen circumstances. On Wednesday, where the shovel is at 9 a.m. We don't have time to go into all of the extenuating circumstances. Again, just high level, perhaps there's a lock gate. Locator couldn't get in. Needs to call you on that CBR, can be reached number. Hey, can you give me the combination or come out, or there's a vicious animal behind the fence. So again, there are extenuating circumstances. Harley's already spoken about that regarding his team of locators. Your ticket would expire 14 calendar days later on Monday the 22nd, in this example, at 9 a.m. Not at 9:02, not at 8:55. These are legal documents. Next question. What ticket type extends the life of a locate request? If your job, you can read the possible answers, if your job is going to last longer than the 14 calendar days, you need to do something. What is it? Remark, update, second notice, retransmit? A few more responses, please. Thank you. 87% of you, absolutely, it is called an update. Here's another situation that we're having. Harley spoke about this. Please don't just continue to do an updated ticket if your job is done. Make sure that it is crossed off the list. Make sure perhaps your administrative assistants in the office are responsible to do updates. Communicate with them, cross that off the list. It is a waste of time for our locating companies. It is a waste of time. It is a waste of paint down on the ground. So again, there's things that we all can do collectively to improve and support all of the groups that need to work together. Here's the visual example. Again, the exact same scenario that I just laid out. Per the state law, you could do your your update on Thursday, the 18th, no later than 9 a.m. in our example. The state law indicates you can go back to 6 calendar days, which would be Tuesday, the 16th. Do not roll the dice. On the 18th, oh, I forgot to do an update. Don't try and do the update in this example at 8:55. You're going to miss that window. Then you are out of compliance. You don't have a valid legal locate request. Give yourself time. Go back to Tuesday or Wednesday when you think about it. So don't roll the dice. Perhaps you might lose on getting the exact timestamp. Here's what's interesting to note on your update. The updated ticket, since you've done your due diligence, it will start when the original ticket expires. So in this case, your updated ticket starts on Monday the 22nd at 9 a.m. And now you have a true 14 calendar days to continue excavation because you've given the locate companies time enough to come out and freshen up the marks. Maybe the spoil piles have covered the paint marks. Maybe Mother Nature, the snow covered them. So again, do what the state law requires. Let's help each other be successful. Next question. Private lines will not be marked when you create a locate request with blue stakes. We're going to talk about this. Is that true or false? Private lines will not be marked. We actually have a locating company with us today. It's Bloodhound. Mike is in the back left corner, your right corner. Visit with him. Visit with our other companies, ELM. I know USIC is here. So again, we're trying to do everything we can to support you to make everybody's job easier and more successful. Let's close the polling. And well done, 74% of you are correct. This can be found in the back of your book under the state law, page 53 through 56. Exact question, page 55, small e, I. A lot of questions come up as I travel the state and do safety meetings. Private versus public. Let's drill down. Hopefully you'll have some aha moments here. I took this picture down in Utah County. I took it because there are a lot of conduits. There's a lot of power meters there. If this were in the scope of your digging project, there are both private lines and public lines here. How do you get your private lines located? We'll talk about that momentarily. We've given you a lot of help on our website. Go with me on this example. The dotted or dashed lines, those are private lines. The solid lines are public lines. There is, as already mentioned, there is no charge to have your public lines identified. Your private lines, yes, there is a charge. Blue, we all know that blue is potable water. Some places could be a commercial building as well. Some place behind or on the property, in this example, there's a water meter, right? Beyond that water meter, that is a private line. That will not be marked. You're looking at yellow and red and orange. There's solid lines all the way up there. There's a meter, there's a network interface, whatever. Then, as you look over to the dotted line on yellow, the gas, heating the water for the pool, private line. Look at the red going out to the little shed, power, maybe a light and a plug in that shed, private line. So keep that in mind, differentiate between private versus public. The dotted line for green, we all know that green is sewer, there is no meter, private line all the way out to the main. I think you've caught on there. All right, so how would you contact locating companies to do your private lines? On our website, the tool navigation bar, you would click on resource, you would drop down, here we go, to FAQ, frequently asked questions, number 6 that is listed here. And then below that number 6 will be all of the companies that myself and my team know of. It has been updated recently on our website. So locating companies, check our website, go underneath FAQ number 6, make sure that your information is correct. If not, you can reach out to us at education.bluestakes.org. That will come to both myself and Mary, who you met out at the table. We will follow up with you. Then you can contact these companies and say, I have private locates. Can you give me a bid? They'll take it from there. Again, in our learning objectives today, we talked about particular emergencies. First off, let's talk about an emergency during business hours, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. You would call 811. I have an emergency. Our locate specialists are very skilled. They would fill out that information. They will send it through as an emergency, high priority. All of the operating companies that have utilities, facilities in that location, they will do their best to respond very quickly within a couple of hours. However, if you're out in the oil fields, perhaps in rural area, maybe the companies are far apart. It might take them a little longer, but for most situations, they will respond quickly. They want to protect their facilities. You have an emergency. We all need to get after that quickly. If it is after hours, here is what I would like to share with you, and hopefully this will be an aha moment for you. So again, we're going to talk specifically on after-hour emergencies and just a high snippet on planning and design. You would go to our website, click on tools on our navigation bar. You would drill down to utility contact lookup. You push that button and this screen comes up. This is just the top portion of it. Again, this is for design or after hours. There's 2 different buttons at the bottom, and I'll show you those. It's going to be 2 different lists of numbers, but you're the professionals. You need emergency information. You would read the pertinent information in here. You would fill it out. It is filled out to the Draper office, the Blue Stakes office in Draper, just down the road. Put in your pertinent information. You can see find street or intersection. Let's move it up on the screen. There you go. Now it's going to populate your lats and longs. You've got your GPS coordinates, a lot of legal information in blue. You're going to map it out down in the middle there. Let's bring it up even further. Now you can differentiate between, is this an emergency or planning and design? And planning and design is not an emergency, just 2 separate lists so that you can start calling these folks. So after hours, we're closed. It is your responsibility to find out who needs to come out to help you with all the other operators. This is the list, a small list for the Blue Stakes office. Let's expand this. Oh, before I do that, down at the bottom, you can put in your email and you will get this exact same list. There's the whole list, all of the emergency numbers for these owner-operators who have utilities in the close proximity of the Blue Stakes office. There is a shortcut so that you don't have to go to our website and drill down because this is an emergency. You can just simply type in ucl.bluestakes.org into your browser right? So again, multiple ways to accomplish different tasks, just like there are on a computer, just like there are on our website. Keep this in mind, UCL, utility contact lookup, .bluestakes.org, then you would fill out that screen. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Next question, get your clickers ready. If you notify Blue Stakes to have your underground utility lines marked, the chance of damage is less than what percent? Now, this is a national statistic, so think of this on a national-wide basis. The Common Ground Alliance, they keep track of a lot of data that we all submit to them, and this statistic is coming from them. Then I'll share some alarming statistics as we move forward from our largest service provider in the state. Okay, let's close the polling. Well done, the majority of you are correct. Nationwide, less than 1% chance of damage if you have contacted that statewide one-call notification center. Here's the alarming statistics. Our largest service provider in the state, Dominion Energy, they are in 27 of 29 counties. Again, you can see the percentages, double digits there. Let's talk about just 2023. I have some numbers here that they provide for me. 1,396 damages in 2023. 28% of those, or 390 damages, were due to no locate request. Locate request and ticket are used synonymous with Blue Stakes. We're trying to get away from ticket. We're trying to always migrate to locate request. Again, 390 damages, no locate request to Blue Stakes. Some of these are coming from the professionals. Some are coming from homeowners. We are all in this together. We need to do a better job together. Here on the screen, top left, I have an acronym, DIRT. That stands for Damage Information Reporting Tool. That is a hosted website by the CGA or Common Ground Alliance. They collect data on near misses and root cause analysis. And then they share these annual reports nationwide. Hopefully we all improve from other people's mistakes. Keep that in mind. Please help us do better. I know we can. How would you get to the CGA? Right here on our website, underneath our navigation bar, tools, you would drop down and you would click on Damage Information Reporting Tool, acronym DIRT. There are no fines, there are no penalties associated with this when you put your information in. And again, they are only as good as all the data that they receive from throughout the nation. I know Dominion, they support this website and they're supplying their information. So again, please look this up and help us move forward in this. CGA is currently doing an initiative. It's called the 50 in 5. It's an industry challenge to cut damages to buried utilities in half in 5 years. So we're cutting 50% in 5 years of damages by 2028. This is a lofty goal, but I truly believe nationwide, if we're all in this together, that we can accomplish this. Now, one of their reports that they have provided, they're giving us information of the top 3 situations, and I want to go through those with you. The dark blue, failure to notify 811 nationwide, the local contact centers, 25.7% of the time. The middle shade of blue, failure to pothole and maintain clearances when you get out there. And the light blue, failure by the locator to mark accurately or on time. And then there is a green 23%, kind of the rest, collect all. So please help us in this. On our website, again, under resources, our nav bar, drop down to general, and then you'll see industry links. There is an article that was produced. We have this up on our website. It is called the 7 Best Practices for Underground Damage Prevention. Here's a link to it. That link I know doesn't do you any good here, but here is how you get to that. As you pull this article up on our website, you think you have to sign up with your name and email. You can just scroll on this article. If you want additional information, then you can put in your email and company name. Let's move forward. Let's see how we're doing. Doing great on time today. Thank you. You can make a difference if we all work together to promote safety and prevent damage. Again, here's one of our colored banners that we used to use pre-COVID. These were 4 foot by 8 foot. Cost just went through the roof on lots of things, lots of swag items. So I've shrunk my banners to 3 foot by 6 foot. We'll talk about those in a little bit. But again, help us get this message out there. Now, every now and again, damages happen, and we know that. Hopefully, all of you know what a directional drill is, a boring machine. Great piece of equipment, very time efficient, saves a lot of cost. You don't have to have an open trench. Yes, you have to have an entrance pit and an exit pit. I understand that. Watch this video. We had an oops, someone did, throughout the nation. Here we go. There's the ground, the sidewalk is raised, the sod is raised, coming all the way across the street. And I'll guarantee you that car probably didn't move without a tow truck. Things do happen, we understand that. We must remain vigilant and resist temptation to cut corners. Life does not have a reset for some choices we make. I still show this picture. Years ago, I'm not going to tell you too much about it other than the fact a damage occurred, an explosion occurred because a shortcut was taken by a professional excavator, and 2 innocent people lost their lives that day. Watch this next video. Who could ever imagine? He scurried away from that. That man was very, very lucky. Maybe he has 7 lives. He had not contacted that statewide one-call notification and received and provided, information for his locate request. So no markings out there. A big pneumatic hammer pounding in fence posts. It's Murphy's Law. It happened. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the National Registered Trademark that is produced by by the Common Ground Alliance, which is the 811. We all have the ability to utilize that. We have to follow their guidelines, their colors and everything. They have all different variations of that. Here is one of their industry taglines, and you have that on your napkins here today. Safety is in your hands every dig, every time. You also have that tagline on your little color code card. I needed to do a reprint. I put that new tagline on the top of the flip side, the 5 steps to safer digging. Again, they come up with some valuable information that all of us throughout the country can use. On the bottom here, we really want you to take the depth expectation out of the equation. As Mary and I travel around and do safety meetings, presentations, we get the question asked to us frequently, how deep are these lines? We cannot give you the answer to that. We will not get sucked down the rabbit hole and even make a educated guess. Think about all the utilities. Eventually, they all have to surface somewhere, correct? So as you're at a home, yes, your gas line has to start to surface, your power, your network interface, whatever, coax cable, fiber, whatever you've got there. So again, things change. Mother Nature changes things. The wind comes up, 100-mile-an-hour winds, and moves a lot of earth, a lot of dirt. Then fill comes in as roads or whatever, subdivisions. Again, things change. We do not know the depth. It is not a state law. Think about the 642 owner-operators in our state. Do they have internal depth requirements? Absolutely. You can talk to them, see if they're going to help you out with depth. But again, do the right thing. Make sure that you are identifying those facilities, especially if you're within the easements and right-of-ways. Again, doing a restoration, a repair, or doing a new install. Those easements and right-of-ways, they're becoming fuller and fuller, which kind of in my mind means they're shrinking. There's not a lot of room to put new in, right? I showed you, for those repeat attendees, past attendees, I showed you a video from CGA last year. It was directed to the contractor. They promised that they would direct one to the operators. I have both videos. They're both 3 minutes long. I would like to show those again. Valuable information. A lot of repetition in what all of us presenters are doing here today. Hopefully, we're all learning something.
Digging projects have a lot of moving parts. There are permits to obtain, equipment to coordinate, crews to manage, all on an unforgiving schedule. So we understand your frustrations when an 811 locate is delayed, and we're asking for your help to help us prevent it from happening. You see, the damage prevention industry also has many moving parts. And if everyone involved can do a little fine-tuning to make their area of responsibility more efficient, the entire 811 system will be able to function like a well-oiled machine. Here are some ways excavators like you can help. First, provide accurate and detailed information when starting a ticket. Be specific about the dig site and only request marks where the proposed excavation work is taking place. Consider providing GPS coordinates, whitelining the proposed site, and identifying any relevant landmarks. This critical information helps narrow down the scope of work, so locators can focus on marking what's really needed for each project and avoid spending time on unnecessary marks. Providing good contact information sounds obvious, but to avoid delays, provide the contact information for someone who is on site or familiar with the dig site and schedule. Make sure to provide an accurate description of the work being performed. Providing more detail enables locators to address internal concerns in advance, arrive better prepared, and get straight to business. In addition to improving the quality of information you provide, we also ask that you manage the quantity of your requests. It's important that you request utility locates with sufficient notice to be marked, but not more than you can reasonably begin within the life of the ticket. Too many tickets at once can put a strain on the system and keep locators from getting to more time-sensitive sites. So avoid requesting backup sites to be marked or creating just-in-case tickets. Active tickets should match the actual schedule of the work being performed and follow the requirements in your state dig law. Also, please avoid locate renewals and remarks on jobs that have been completed. Often, locate requests are updated or refreshed long after work has been finished. This causes locators to spend time marking inactive job sites when they could be marking active ones. We thank you in advance for adopting the suggestions we've reviewed today. And rest assured, we're also asking other groups in the damage prevention industry to do their part to help as well. Because the 811 system can only work efficiently when we all work together. For more information or to provide feedback, visit call811.com/excavator. As a utility or a facility owner-operator, as referred to in this video, you already know a lot about the damage prevention industry. After all, it is your underground lines that are being protected from damage. But the 811 system is comprised of many other stakeholders as well. And it can be extremely frustrating for them, especially excavators, when locates are not on time. As with all parts of this interconnected system, how well you perform your role significantly affects how well the other stakeholders can perform theirs. Damage prevention starts when your pipelines, cables, or wires are first placed in the ground. This is when quality mapping and detailed record keeping are critical. How well this job is done today will affect how easily and accurately your underground line locations can be verified in the future. Of course, as a facility owner-operator, most of your responsibility in regard to the 811 system involves locating and marking your lines. Whether you do this yourself or hire a locate partner, it is important that you and they consider the following. First, evaluate how you are managing and processing location requests. Many facility owner-operators use software for these tasks, while others use online portals. Whatever method you use, make sure performance metrics are established and monitored for locates. And always look for new ways to improve efficiency and accuracy. It may go without saying, but it's extremely important that you do your best to provide on-time and accurate locates. If you use a third party, the responsibility is yours, and good communication with your locate partner is key. Communication with excavators and all involved parties is also critical in the event of a weather delay. When performing a locate, make your markings highly visible, using both paint and flags when appropriate. Remember, some of your markings may be lost during the rigors of the construction process, so multiple markings are recommended. Also, consider both the terrain you are marking as well as expected weather conditions for your region. It is also critical that you provide the 811 Center with good contact information for the appropriate members of your team, should an excavator or other stakeholder have questions or encounter a problem. Not only is it important to keep your mapping data accurate and up to date, but it is your responsibility to submit this information to your state's 811 Center in a timely manner. But perhaps the most important thing a facility owner-operator like you can do is foster relationships and partnerships with other stakeholders in the 811 system. Not only will this help educate them, but it will also lead to a more dependable and efficient 811 system, and ultimately a reduction or elimination of damage to your underground lines. Finally, facility owner-operators are excavators too, and you and your contractors have additional damage prevention responsibilities to keep that part of the system operating smoothly. Make sure you watch our video designed specifically for excavators. For more information or to provide feedback on this video, visit call811.com/utility.
Okay, get your clickers ready. Again, a lot of pertinent information there. We're all in this together. What is the tolerance zone on either side of the marks? You're the experts. What is it? 18, 24, 30, 36, or 48 inches? Once the paint and the flags are put down there, the safety zone or tolerance zone, used synonymous. Responses are coming in quick. This can be found in the state law, page 55 and 56, number 1 down at the bottom. Polling is closed. 91% of you, absolutely, 24 inches on either side. Here is the visual. Again, a gas pipe underneath, the sod, 24 inches either side. Here is a duct structure. I took the picture on the left. I'd like to just point out a few things here. There you can see the 3 red power lines there. You can see the orange communication running lines, and then there's a diamond there. That's a duct structure. And to the right, that is potentially what is under that communication structure. So again, a lot of fiber there. Again, if you look up on the top on the sidewalk, you see gas lines going up there, yellow, so on and so forth. The point here is the furthest outside marks, that is where your 2-foot safety zone would start, because all of these others are going to intersect and cross over each other. So now this is an easement and a right-of-way, very, very full there. 2 feet on the far outside of the orange running line, communications. It looks like 2 feet either outside of the kind of the third line there on the power, or maybe even perhaps there's more power lines that have faded. So again, you could potentially have not a 2-foot, maybe a 4, 6, or 8-foot safety zone there. Here's a wonderful marking that I took. This gas either goes over the power or under the power, right? A lot of information there, a lot of utilities. Be safe. Here's an example of what Harley was talking about. The contractor here did white line. Again, very handy, very helpful. This is a 24-inch HP high-pressure Dominion Energy gas line. You can see the markings. Here we go, some more questions. What's the easiest way for an excavator to check the status of a locate request? I know a lot of you are doing this. Is it you call 811 and ask the locate specialist? You check for marks at the job site? You check for EPR, electronic positive responses, at bluestakes.org, or D, contact the member facility owner. Thanks for your responses. Just a few more, please. Here we go. We'll close it. And yes, the majority of you are correct. It is check for electronic positive responses at bluestakes.org. How do you do that? You go to our homepage, right here where the big red arrow is and the blue link there, check locate status. You click on that. That screen will come up. This screen will come up. You type in your ticket number, but again, we're trying to get away from ticket to locate number, your locate request. Type that in and this will populate. Now, it's interesting to note that electronic positive response is not mandated currently in the Utah state law. We'll talk a little bit more about that moving forward. What is the benefit for a facility owner to participate in electronic positive response? Closes the communication gap between the facility owner and excavator, facilitates the communication process, reduces second notices and unneeded ticket revisions, or all of the above? Response is coming in very quick. I expect a very high percentage here. Absolutely, 92% of you are correct. It is check for your response. All right, let's talk about how do facility owners use EPR. Just a few bullet points here. It is simple for facility owners to post responses to the EPR system. You can use an automated ticket management system. Again, we have a preferred provider called Norfield, and their system for the ticket management is Locator Logic. You can also enter this manually through our online portal. It is voluntary for members, as I mentioned, not mandated yet. We hope at some point in time it will be. Currently, there are 70% response rates. Now, that is not 70% of the 642 owner-operators. This is 70% of our high-volume users. Example, Dominion Energy. And again, this is available online 24/7. I want to show you a quick video from Norfield. Hopefully this will drill down and help you understand a little bit better what they have to offer.
Safety is an important issue in any workplace, and this is especially true within the construction industry. There are many dangers that exist, especially for excavators. According to OSHA, excavating is recognized as one of the most dangerous jobs in construction operations. The risks of damaging underground utilities are tremendous. And it might be shocking to know that the #1 issue facing our industry today, failure to even notify an 811 call center before digging occurs. In a recent study, it was found that $61 billion is lost annually to waste and inefficiencies of the systems for damage prevention. A key factor identified, poor coordination of the increasingly huge volume of tickets and their status. So we figured we would do something about it. Introducing DigLogix by NDP, a revolutionary single-address ticket submission and management application designed for excavators, utilities, and homeowners to create and track their 811 tickets with ease. Our easy-to-use app automates your processes and simplifies operations. You can now create and track tickets automatically, verify clients, receive instant notifications, and much more, all in one simple-to-use platform. Seamlessly transmit and receive critical event notifications from utility companies on your mobile device. To make timely decisions and improve efficiency, effectiveness, and safety, all with just the tap of a button. Effortlessly access submissions and communicate with field teams. Whoever the user is, no matter what the size of job. DigLogix intuitively communicates to provide predictability and accuracy from start to finish, and all steps in between. The DigLogix software incorporates a unique combination of law, regulation, practice, and process to help eliminate all of the dangers and damages associated with legal excavation. So, what are you waiting for? Optimize your processes and increase your productivity with DigLogix. And let's keep our community safe together. At NDP, we drive safety through innovation. To learn more, visit www.norfielddp.com today.
Again, there is their web address. One more screenshot from them. If you have any questions now that you've seen that video, you can email them at info@norfielddp.com. Again, DigLogix and Locator Logic. I always like to cover and show you the sheer locate request volume that we handle in a given year. Here's a 10-year snapshot back in 2014, 321,000 plus locate requests. Jump ahead to 2022, that has been our banner year, just under 656,000. A small decrease in 2023, still very high, just under 630,000. Now, with that being said, for every locate request that comes in, we electronically notify on average 7 owner operators. If you do the math on that, we're looking at 4.4 million locate. These companies that do locating, tough job. They are doing an outstanding job. Again, we are all in this together. Here's the same 10-year snapshot. This is the remote ticket submissions online that you are definitely part of. Same 10-year snapshot, 2014, 57%, jump all the way ahead, very close, 2022 and 2023, 74% for this past year. Let's talk about the handouts that I left you. We've already mentioned the excavator guidebook. It was updated in December of 2022. The first section of the book are process guidelines of what you need to know and do, either submitting your locate request online or calling us at 811. The center section of the book are marking guidelines. How should the locating companies be marking these facilities? The latter portion of the book, starting on page 46, is a reproduction of the Utah state law. As I've already mentioned, there is your handy reference, color code card, and the 5 steps to safer digging on the flip side, and the tagline, safety is in your hands, every dig, every time. We left with you a 6-inch sticker today. Click for our web-based applications or call 811 before you do any digging. Become a safe digging partner. How do you do that? Hopefully by following and adhering to the state law. There is the National Registered Trademark 811. We left with you, because it's a special year for us, 50-year anniversary, a dry pack bag. Again, you roll the tops down, you put your phone in there when it's snowing or when you're out floating the river or doing your side-by-sides or whatever it is you like to do. Keychains with our message on it. And again, Mary, if you'd come over and hold up the banners over here on our table. As I mentioned earlier, we have the 3-foot by 6-foot banners now. We had to shrink them from 4-foot by 8-foot. Thank you. We have several. Some have already picked those up. Everything that we do at Blue Stakes, we're trying to help you, help yourselves in the as the professionals, help our communities, your cities and towns, and just throughout our great state. So please, today we have those for you to pick up, as well as the CGA Best Practices book. This is the latest. It is volume 19. I know several of you already picked up copies. Again, we're doing this for you. We want you, and we are providing for you information that hopefully is beneficial in all forms. Mary and I, we do safety meetings throughout our great state. Blue Stakes will provide safety training upon request at no additional charge. Send us an email, education@bluestakes.org, or if you have any questions, that email will come to both Mary and myself. We will follow up with you. We are not doing any additional safety meetings until the second quarter of the year. We're on the road for 7 weeks doing these presentations and supporting our partner, the Utah Pipeline Association, doing 13 of theirs, 16 of ours. We have 29 meetings, and we just got started. We're in our second week. We at Blue Stakes, we've provided another means for you. Excuse me. It is called Excavation Safety 101. It is an online training portal. You would go to our website, bluestakes.org. Go to resources, drill down underneath the professional excavator. Third one down, Excavation Safety 101. Again, self-paced. Go through this. If you need Doppel credits, we are approved to do that and offer those on this training. Couple of hours, you will get a certificate like this. Again, you don't have to have a license number or be requesting Doppel credits to take this. A lot of companies, now that they know this has been up here for a number of years, they're having perhaps new employees, just kind of a high-level overview. They're having them take this course. Again, you'll get this printed out certificate. If you did your pre-registration correctly today for this event and requesting credits, if you did it correctly, I repeat, then it will flow through. It is an automated system. If you didn't do it correctly, here's another means by where you can get some Doppel credits. We at Blue Stakes, we will pay for those. Again, register properly, put in your license number. If you have a license number, you will get this printout at the end, even your new employees. April is the National Safe Digging Month throughout the country. We embrace that industry effort. We have TV spots that start to run, 15-second spots. We have a lot of social media platforms, Facebook being one of those. Our banners, I've just spoken about those, the 3 foot by 6 foot. We have billboards. Here's a quick picture, a quick video that we do have on our social media channels.
Before you start digging in your yard, don't forget you have buried utilities down there. Contact bluestakes.org or call 811 2 business days before you dig to keep your utilities protected and you safe from harm. It's a state law.
We are trying to educate our upcoming generation as we retire, as we get older. Educate your kids and your grandkids. I have 6 billboards currently, and I've had these for years, from Weber County up by Smith and Edwards Country Boys store down to Iron County. I used to have them in Washington County. Again, as you see these, talk to your kids about them. A quick message, know what's below. Call 811 before you dig. Who is it? Bring it full circle. There's some flags that you'll see. It's bluestakes.org. We have partnered with Jeff at Carbon County. This is his truck. With Eric at Iron County. Again, if you see anything that you potentially could do to help yourselves and and to communicate safety and safe digging to the folks in your areas, please reach out. Again, that is what the banners are for as well. Dominion Energy has done a wonderful job on their trailer. They take this to Western states, I've been told. Again, it's fairly new, just been rolling off of the production line there. It is time for review. Get your clickers. We are going to go through these really, really quick. We are still right on time. Here we go. First question. Now, these are all the questions from all the presenters. I'm not going to read any of the answers. I will read the question, key in your response, and we will just push forward. We like to see the pre and the post, how we have done at educating you. First question, what information is required on all pipeline markers? I'm going to give it just a minute. I don't want to cut anybody short, but we will go through these real quick. I'll watch the indicator and we'll just close it and fly through these. 97% of you, yes. What depth are pipelines buried at? Hopefully you've had some takeaways today. We appreciate this great audience, your participation. 99%, so close. Yes, it varies. In the event of a pipeline emergency, which of the following actions should be taken? Boy, responses are coming in quick. You're all awake. Here we go. 98% of you, yes, correct. If you damage a pipeline while excavating, which of the following actions should be taken? Don't want to cut anybody short. I'm watching. They're coming in so fast that I'm not just going to shortchange you here. Thank you. 94% correct. When would a pipeline operator need to be on site? %, of you. Here come Harley's questions. ELM. Excavators can make Blue Stakes locate requests more effective by. I thoroughly enjoy being able to travel around. I've been doing this 11 years with these seminars. 94%, yes, well done. Single residential lot locate requests take the same amount of time to locate and mark whether you request the entire lot to be marked or just a specific area. Got a lot of prize drawings up here, again donated by Blue Stakes as well as all the exhibitors. 96%. Effective and efficient locate requests. You guys are great. You could hear a pin drop here today. Thank you. 94% correct. Here come all of my questions. The state law requires anyone who is digging to contact Blue Stakes to submit a locate request. Let's see how many hundreds we can get. Got a couple of board members here, remember? Help me out. There we go, thank you. Who can enforce the Blue Stake laws in Utah by pursuing civil penalties? This percentage has always gone up from our past seminars. Well done, 94% yes, it increased again. It is all the above. Damage prevention is a shared responsibility. Another 100%. Coming up. Really? Okay. 96%. Okay, I know we're going to get 100 on this one. You were all awake during this one. What are the Blue Stake Notification Center hours? Wow, they came in quick. Oh, so close. 96% yes, 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, closed Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays. Submitting an online locate request is available 24/7 at bluestakes.org. True or false? Really? So close, 99. Here we go. How soon before digging do you need to create a locate request? You are the experts. 95%. 48 hours, 2 full business days prior to your excavation project beginning. What is the life of a locate request? How long is it valid for? Excellent. 91%, 14 calendar days. What ticket type extends the life of a locate request? This was a high percentage on the pre-questions. 99%. Who's that's messing with me? You know, no prize drawings for you. I don't know who you are. Here we go. Private lines will not be marked when you create a locate request with Blue Stakes. True or false? Next question. If you notify Blue Stakes to have your underground utility lines marked, the chance of damage is less than what percent? National statistic. Remember, a national statistic. I see a few. Thank you. There's a few of you that picked up on that. Here we go. There we go. 98%. Thanks. What is the tolerance zone on either side of the marks? %, correct, 24 inches. What's the easiest way for an excavator to check the status of a locate request? We are right on time here. 17 minutes, and our goal is to have you out of here. We've got some prizes to give away. 88% of you, yes. Check for electronic positive response at bluestakes.org. What is the benefit for facility owners to participate in electronic positive response? %, correct. Damage prevention starts with you. Every one of us here today. Please, please, we hope that you've had some takeaways. Hope you've had some aha moments. Do not put your clickers away. I have some survey questions coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come full circle. Contacting Blue Stakes prior to your excavation may just save your life. Why would you want to do that? We hope because they are counting on us. Let's recap our learning objectives. Know what to do in case of a pipeline emergency. Do your part when creating a locate request. Understand damage prevention and enforcement. Understand the process for after-hour emergencies. ucl.bluestakes.org. And do you have a better understanding of the Blue Stake laws and processes? Here comes the survey questions. I have 3, and they will not show graphs. We will take these back and learn from them. Did we meet our learning objectives today? A, all objectives were met. B, most of the objectives were met. C, some objectives were met. Or D, no objectives were met. Thank you for those quick responses. Next question. How much practical knowledge did you gain from today's event? A lot, some, a little, or none? And the final question coming up here, thinking about everything, the facility, the caterers, the registration, the pre-registration, the presenters, just everything combined into one question. Overall seminar rating, excellent, very good, good, fair, or poor. Thank you for those responses. If, and I repeat again, if you pre-registered properly, here are the credits that some of you are expecting. Again, I've given you an alternate method. If you didn't register properly, you can always go in and do Excavation Safety 101 for multiple reasons, but to get credit. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It is 10:14 and number 8, Snowman, right up front here. Please come get the banners. Be safe. Hope you found your time well spent today. Have a great day.